Hello, YouTube. I wasn't actually planning on. I thought about doing this rant, but then I was like, no, I don't really want to. And then I decided it's 2 a.m. I'll rant about this. So I saw this edit of this movie on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this looks good, I should watch it. And I knew it was sad because I was looking at the comments and everyone was like, oh, this movie ruined me. This movie ruined me. It's so sad. By the way, it's called Close. I watched it with my mom. It was very sad. But I feel like, I don't know. The overarching, a lot of the people, when I Googled it, it was like, this movie is about growing older. And then basically, quick summary. Leo, Remy, they're best friends. They do everything together. They have sleepovers. They sleep in the same bed at their sleepovers. They play pretend together. They talk at school a bunch. They bike to school every day. They always hang out together. The new school year starts. They bike to school. And already, first day of school, these girls are asking them, are you guys gay? Are you guys, in a relationship? They're like, no. And Leo, specifically, is very, butthurt about this. He's like, no, we're not in a relationship. And it's, okay, we get it. Okay? And then, slowly over time, because of what people are saying, someone calls them the F slur, da-da-da-da, he distances himself more and more from Remy, and he makes new friends, which making new friends isn't a bad thing, right? He slowly distances himself from Remy. Remy isn't mentally well. It's not completely obvious, but there are hints. It's at their sleepovers, Remy has trouble falling asleep. And so Leo does this thing where he tells the story about a duck and a really special duck and a gecko or chameleon meeting, and then they go on a trampoline and they bounce high up in the air. And then basically he's telling Remy to imagine this, and then Leo starts he's like, this is what it sounds like when they're bouncing up in the air, and he starts blowing air, because it's oh, when you're bouncing really high in the air, you're gonna hear the air being whoo. So that's what happens. And slowly over time, Leo stops going to sleepovers. Well, at first he stops sleeping in the same bed, stops going to sleepovers, stops hanging out with Remy as much at school, and then finally, the straw that broke the camel's back was he went biking to school with his new friends instead of Remy. This is the one thing they had going for them left, the biking. So Leo stops biking with Remy and goes with his other friends. Remy goes up to him at school while Leo's with all his friends, and he's like, why did you miss it? And they all Leo obviously knew what he was talking about immediately. So Leo was like, oh, I woke up early, so I ate early, so I left early. Okay, but you always wait for me. I was just early, man. No, you weren't. And then they start fighting. Full on fighting. Until Leo's brother pulls Leo away, and a teacher or someone pulls Remy away. And keep in mind, they've been lifelong friends. They know each other's families, etc., etc. And basically, then they go on a school field. By the way, spoiler alert. I guess I'll put that in the caption if I post this. All the kids go on a school field trip. When they come back, all their parents are there, which is weird, right? And so they're assuming oh, did we get in trouble or something? And then Leo, for some reason, he's something bad happened. Because Remy wasn't on the field trip as well. To preface, Remy didn't go on the field trip. He's something bad happened to Remy. He doesn't say it, but you can kind of see it in his expression. He doesn't leave the bus like all the other kids. His mom comes on the bus to get him off the bus. And he's like, what happened? His mom's like, Remy, just come off the bus. No, what happened? His mom, after a few back and forth, she's like, something happened to Remy. Leo was like, is he in the hospital? He's no longer with us. Remy committed sewer slide. I feel cringy using like, what's the word, euphemisms or whatever, to describe things, because I think euphemisms are stupid. I think I mentioned that in another video, but whatever. And basically, like, that's like the first 30 minutes. That's only the first 30 minutes. The other 60 minutes or so is, because here's the thing, is normally it's a very cinematic movie. That's how that's the only way I can describe it, is cinematic. In the way where it's like, how do I describe this? Normally in shows, either characters, like movies and shows, they either always speak their mind, or they have an inner dialogue. This movie doesn't have that, so they show it a lot with facial expressions. I loved the acting in this movie. But basically, the next 60 minutes are just Leo going through the stages of grief. Remy didn't leave a note. Remy didn't leave shit, actually. Remy was like, fuck y'all bitches, I'm dying. That's actually a really bad way to put that. That was insensitive. I mean, I get it's fictional characters, but that was insensitive. Whatever, you know. Leo has to deal with, like they start school therapy, like a class therapy group, like grief therapy thing. And then, like, Leo doesn't say anything the first time. And, like, he's also doing ice hockey now. Like, he starts doing ice hockey, and he just focuses on that completely. And they'll show scenes, because a lot of the movie is just cycling through the, like, locations. It's, like, when it, like, shows them at a sleepover, like, multiple separate times before Remy dies. And then after that, it will show, like, certain parts where instead of, you know, them having a sleepover because Remy's dead, Leo is, like, crawling into his brother's bed and they cuddle, which is so cute. And, like, there's one scene that I mean, I don't know. It was where Leo, like, wet the bed. That was the only part. And then he like, changed out of his clothes, took the sheets off his bed, put them in a bin, and then, like, crawled to his brother's bed and just, like, slept there for another, like, few hours. Because it looked like the sun was rising. I don't know. That was something that I thought was, like, kind of weird to put in. Well, not weird to put in. I just didn't get why it was there, you know? I don't know. Maybe it was a way to say, like, oh. Because, like, it's, like, hard, because there's no dialogue or, like, inner, like, thoughts from Leo, the main character. It's, like, you can't really know what he's thinking, but I guess it's maybe a way of saying that, like, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know. There's different ways I feel like it could be interpreted, because it could be interpreted, because they'll do, like, the night scenes where they're in bed, and then after Remy dies, it's like, oh, he's alone. It could be a way of saying, like, oh, even though he's not showing it, he misses Remy. Because he doesn't admit he misses him until, like, later, late in the movie. Which, okay, you can't blame him. And basically, I'm kind of just yapping about this movie right now. But over time, so Leo doesn't talk to Remy's mom. He was very close to Remy's mom. And that's shown in, like, one of the scenes in the very beginning where they're all, like, rolling around in the grass, laughing, and having a great time. He's very close to Remy's mom. He hasn't talked to her. They first talk at, like, some ice rink. And she just says, oh, you're always welcome in my house. He goes to their house again and plays with the dog who's outside. And, like, their dog. And she invites him in. And she, like, lets him look through stuff. And then she's like, you can take whatever you want. And then he's like, no, it's okay. And she's like, so what happened between you two? Because they were very distant. Like, they stopped talking before Remy killed himself. So she's like, what happened between you two? And he was like, I have to go. He just leaves. And then finally, one of the last scenes, again, big spoiler alert, one of the last scenes, he goes to her work, which she works in, like, the maternity ward at a hospital. He goes there randomly. They lock eyes. She walks up to him and is like, how'd you get here? And he's like, the bus. And so she starts driving him home. And he starts talking because he wanted to tell her, like, oh, this is what happened. But he didn't really say what happened. He just said, it's my fault he died. It's my fault. It's my fault. And then she stops the car. She pulls over, stops the car. They both start sobbing. She says, get out. Get out. he gets out, he starts walking, and then she opens the door and he starts running, and he grabs this big ass stick. Like, big stick. I don't know why I had to emphasize that. It's just like I was astonished by this random, because it wasn't like a long twig, it was just like short, but it was very, like, it looked like one of the, like, I don't know, like, do you ever like see those caveman animations and they have the big ass bats? That's what it looked like, but it was shorter. So I was like, where are you finding this random stick? That's not like a naturally occurring stick. But whatever. He is like running through the forest. He has this stick out, and she starts chasing after him because I think she wants to like apologize and whatnot. She like holds it. Like, he holds it out to like defend himself because he thinks she's gonna hurt him. Which I thought that was crazy at first, but thinking about it more, it's like, if you think that you're the reason your ex-best friend killed themselves, and then you tell the mom that of your ex-best friend, and then she starts chasing you, you know what, valid fear. And also, it's like, obviously she wouldn't do anything, but the thing is I also think part of the reason he held up the stick was because he thought he deserved it. Because I feel like when you defend yourself in that situation, you're doing it because you think, in some place of your mind, if I was in her position, I would want to kill me too. So he holds out the stick trying to defend himself, and she just like slowly walks towards him and hugs him. And then there's like a few more scenes where he's like getting off this cast that he like had from like some certain point when he got hurt, and like there's this light shining through the window and you can see it, and it's like, I guess, like renewal or something, like acceptance, you know, like the last stage of grief is acceptance, I think. But overall, it's just like, this movie, it's one of those, like, there's a lot of repetitive scenes because it's like you're seeing the same thing happening over and over again, but as his grief, as he's going through grief. So each scene is like technically like it's the same setting, but and same scenario, but it's different each time because he's going through different whatever. All those things saying, oh, this movie is about growing from adolescence. No, not in my opinion. I feel like the overarching, I think the overarching, whatever, topic or theme is to not let social pressure lead you astray from those who are actually loyal to you. I feel like that's like the most, like, I think that's the most prevalent theme throughout all of it, is because he stopped being friends with his best friend because people were calling them gay. Which I was telling my mom, I was asking my mom, I was like, do you think that either of them were actually gay? Because in my mind when I was watching it, I thought, I think Remy's gay, and I think, what's his name? What's his name? Oh, I got it. No, I don't. Oh, come back to me. I don't know it. What the heck? Remy and who? Holy heck, wait, I have it on my iPad. But basically, I feel like the overarching, like, freaking, like, theme isn't even related to adolescence. Like, it's so just, oh, Leo. I thought it started with an I don't know why. Oh, that rhymed. Okay. I think, like, because I was asking my mom, I was like, do you think that, like, either of them were actually gay? And the thing is like that's not what the movie's about. The movie isn't about, oh, are they actually gay or not? But it's like a question, you know, to think about, ponder on. And the point I'm making in saying this is like, the theme wasn't about like, oh, are they gay? That was just like the driving force of what made freaking Leo ditch his best friend. But when I just wanted to note it because I was thinking about it a lot. I think, because it could be anything. There's arguments for every single scenario of, oh, are they gay or not? I would say my theory is that Leo is gay. People are going to be like, that's not the point of the movie, Scarlett. I know that. I'm just saying it's curiosity, okay? Curiosity killed me, I guess. But I would say Ian probably, if not Ian. I keep thinking Leo is Ian. I don't know where I'm getting that name from. Anyways, I keep thinking, like, I feel like Leo, okay, it's one of those things where it's like, here's the thing, when people were calling them the F slur, when people were saying, oh, are you guys dating? Leo was the one getting all irritated. Leo cared more than Remy. Remy didn't give a frick, dude. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, if you drop an insult, the owner picks it up. Except for it's not an insult, it's just like gayness. So it's like, oh, you drop the word gay, Leo picks it up. That was so stupid. But it's like, I think that's my interpretation. Because at first I did think that Remy would be the one out of the two of them that was gay. But again, that's not the point of the movie. I just feel as though, like, I was crying a lot while watching it. And that's also part of the reason why I didn't want to make a video immediately after watching it, was because if I'm crying right now, I'm probably going to cry when reminiscing on the story. But yeah, that last scene where Remy's mom is hugging Leo while Leo thinks she wants to hurt him at first, that broke me a little bit. Oh, one of the scenes that I feel like is worth noting and talking about is basically, it's the second, like, shown at least, it's the second group therapy session with everyone in their class talking about Remy. And the dude who, so there's only one dude who called them the F slur, and they were going around the circle talking about what they wrote about Remy. They had to write about Remy and had to read it. He was saying that, like, Remy was really nice and funny, and we would laugh a lot together, and he was always really happy. And for me, I feel like the thing that irked me was like, okay, you called him the F slur. You laughed at him, not with him. But this wasn't what Leo was focused on. Leo piped up, he was like, you think he was always happy? And then the teacher was like, everyone gets a chance to talk, Leo. You thought he was always happy? And then he just fucking, like, he stands up and he just leaves. And I felt like that was, because that was, like, one of the first times after Remy died where he actually showed that he cared about it. Like, genuinely cared. And it's, like, it's just interesting because I feel like the way that they portray Leo after Remy's death, it's, like, the first, like, multiple, like, 10, 20 minutes after Remy's death, Leo, it seems like he doesn't care at all. And obviously, like, you know he does. Like, you know, like, in your mind, you're like, okay, he probably does. If he didn't, then this wouldn't be a movie. But he doesn't show it at all. I mean, I guess he does. Someone's gonna be in the comments, if this video gets any views, and be like, actually, he showed it at this timestamp where his eyes flickered a little bit when they were talking about Remy, so you're wrong. My point is, except for when he first found out, Leo did not act like he gave a single fuck until, like, near the, like, last 30 minutes of the movie. But then me and my mom were talking about it because we were watching it together. She was like, Leo was a bad friend. It was his fault. Like, even during the movie, she was like, it's his fault. It's his fault that his friend died. Like, she was going against him so hard. But in my mind, it's just like, okay, they're 12, 13. It's not his fault that his ex-best friend killed himself. And I get, like, yeah, he was a really fucking shitty friend. A really shitty friend. But that doesn't make him responsible for someone's death. Even if he thinks it does, I don't think it does. Because it's not like okay. And I'm not defending, like, oh, yeah, go freaking stop being friends with your best friend and ghost him. I'm not saying that by any means. But what I am saying is that you cannot, it just feels icky to blame a 12, 13-year-old for the death of their best friend. Am I crazy for that? I don't think I am. And I said that, because my mom was cutting my hair, because she's a hairstylist. Do you guys like the new haircut, by the way? It's super short. It's because school is starting soon, so I want it to grow out a little bit, so it's the perfect length. Okay, anyways. But, just, we were talking about it, and she was like, it was totally his fault. And I was like, well, I don't think you can be at fault for someone's suicide at 13 or 12 if you didn't do anything directly to hurt them. And I get, indirectly hurting someone isn't any better. Actually, I'm going to stop explaining myself. It just wasn't his fault that his friend committed suicide. That's my take. Because also, I think we need to acknowledge that if someone does that, if someone kills themselves over something, because he had friends. You would see Remy in the background with his friends. He had reasons to live. But if someone's going to over their best friend ghosting them, there is probably more happening in their mind or at home that is unrelated, that is also driving them to do that. Or maybe there was too much reliance on someone. So in a way, if that was the reason, if Remy was too reliant on Leo as a friend, it was good that they got some space. I'm not going to say like, oh, yeah, they should have gone to the extent of not being friends anymore. But like, if Remy's reason for killing himself was, oh, I was so dependent on Leo and now he ghosted me, I have to die. Maybe it's good that they had a little bit of distance. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the video.